My dear followers of Little Mental Health Corner, hello and welcome. As I have promised 3 days ago on my profile on Instagram, Helena Mamic, that I will talk something about the preparation for the performers in the late stage. So it means 2 or 3 weeks before the performance, no matter if it is about full-length show of operatic performance or drama, or a full-length evening recital of art song. No matter, but it is very important to emphasize some very small things that are the part of the process. They do not look so important, that's why I say small things, but they could be troublemakers in the latest possible stage of the preparation, or when an artist already gets on the stage into performing. So there are some things that a lot of performing artists take for granted, and I was myself also involved in this kind of mistakes. During my undergrad years, I was very prone to this. So I wanted to emphasize the importance of learning process. So there are some things that look very easy for us, and we just sing it or play it very fluently, spontaneously, and we're not so much mindful about that. It is very automatically made. But things that are looking so simple, most of us would think, well, it doesn't need too much mindfulness, does it? But I will have to disappoint all of you. Those small things, like very short sections, or even if it is a vocalysis without text, they could create problems once we get on the stage, or in the last, let's say, half an hour before the performance, when a lot of singers or instrumentalists are trying to rehearse and go through some kind of section very, very fast just to revise it. But it is also not a mindful revision of certain program. It is very mechanical, so it is also an issue that can lead us to make mistakes, because all things that were not so mindful in a way during rehearsals made, and also made with a success that we understood it completely, how to apply that, and what is the background story of a certain composition or operatic scenario or an art song. That can also create a lot of problems. In learning process and mindfulness, it is very, very important, even those very minimalistic things from the composition, to connect it with the background story, the text, melody, rhythm, and the intonation. So there are a lot of elements that we have to consider in terms of mindfulness. And if only one factor is missing, it can also lead us to a lot of issues. So keep in mind that even those very small things that look very easy, minimalistic, or so trivial, please do not just jump over and think, yeah, it is perfectly in order, and I do not need to pay too much attention. But it is also a big trap for all of us artists. So please, know the background story, know the language, know the rhythm, and understand the background story. So it is not only about knowing the background story, one has to understand it very well. One has to understand the psychology of this background story, the history also. So please immerse yourself as much as possible in those small elements because they can become very problematic. The next thing that I also wanted to emphasize is once we come on the stage, all of those things that were not practiced in mindful way, they're just going to appear as mistakes. Because if we do not let those things to be engraved properly in our mindset, it is going to create a lot of trouble, and we're going to get very unpleasant surprise. Why and how on the earth could I make such mistake? And it is not because it is like our fault. It is only a mistake of the learning process, and also attempt in mindful reading the music or reading the scenario or whatever. But also one has to really engrave it very well in brain in order to process it very well, to understand it, and then there won't be any problems. It is also good to compare with Olympic gymnasts, for example. They're actually engraving all of those fascinating movements that are horribly dangerous. One can be easily very seriously injured. By only a very small mistake, one can break his or her neck. Only by a small movement. So, make a comparison. This small movement can be lethal for those athletes. It is same like we also spring over these minimalistic things that we do not consider too much important. But on these small things, when it really happens, then we lose the control, and then we can also spoil the performance. So it was the second important thing. Third important thing, just before the concert or operatic performance or whatever, please do concentrate only on your peace of mind and repeating the program in a very slow pace. We're aware that there are a lot of lovely people, supportive people who come as an audience, and they want to talk to the performer and to let themselves know a little bit more about the artist and the performance and the concept and everything. But also in the other way, it can create a lot of difficulties for an artist because it is a very big distraction before the concert, and it is also very tiring. So once you are finished with the performance, it is really very lovely to share your contacts with your lovely audience. But before the concert, have in mind that you want to provide all of your best quality to your audience because they really deserve it. They pay the ticket. They come there to support you and your team. Once they come there, it is very meaningful because you're very worthy to them. You have developed certain program and personality that you're going to present them, and they treat it as a very, very important thing for them. So be very careful and be very considerate towards your audience before the concert, but also be very considerate towards yourself because you need your peace and your personal space before the performance to relax and also to revise some spots that could create some issues. That's why you need a lot of peace and quiet in this phase. But afterwards, of course, you can enjoy and really have a wonderful time with your fans and developing your contacts and networking and succeeding more and more in your performing career. So these are the few things that I wanted to share with you. I hope that you will find some helpful tips here, and I will be glad if you pose any questions. I will try to find as fast as possible some time to answer your questions, and also feel free to suggest any kind of topics that are related to performers, or directly or indirectly. I will be very happy to make new podcasts. I'm here to support all of you that are in performing industry. And in this last sentence, I will wish you a wonderful upcoming week, successful week, and a lot of lovely rehearsals and performances, and then talk to you soon in my next podcast. All the best.